stop, before you scroll, before you decide this is just another message, before distraction steals what heaven is trying to release, breathe. There are moments in your life that are not casual, they are not random, they are appointed, and this is one of them. You have been under pressure for longer than you expected. You have been holding faith when it would have been easier to let go. You have been standing when others quietly walked away, and now you feel something shifting. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. If this message finds you at the exact moment you needed it, like this video and subscribe to Grace Refuge right now. Let this space remain a refuge for those who refuse to quit. Let others who are being tested find confirmation through this word. Now listen closely. You were being tested, not by people, not by circumstances alone, but by God Himself. Not to break you, but to measure you. Thou, O God, hast proved us. Thou hast tried us, as silver is tried. Psalm 66:10. Silver does not understand the fire while it is inside it. It only feels the heat. But the refiner knows exactly how long to hold it there. Chosen one, the fire you walked through had a timer on it. You thought it was punishment. It was precision. You thought it was rejection. It was refinement. Let me ask you something honestly. When the delay stretched longer than your comfort, did you curse God? When the door stayed closed, did you abandon prayer? When the betrayal came, did you choose revenge? No. You felt the temptation, but you did not surrender to it. That was the test. The final test is rarely about ability. It is about alignment. God is not impressed by talent. He looks at the posture of the heart. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. When David was anointed king, no one in that field believed he was qualified. He was the forgotten son, the shepherd boy, the background figure. But the oil flowed on the one whose heart had already been tested in isolation. You have been in isolation, not physically alone perhaps, but internally alone, carrying responsibilities, carrying silence, carrying prayers that felt unanswered, and heaven was watching how you carried them. There is a difference between waiting and enduring. Waiting is passive. Enduring is active faith under pressure. You endured. When your finances tightened, you still gave thanks. When your name was misunderstood, you stayed quiet instead of defending yourself. When temptation whispered, "Take the shortcut," you resisted. Shortcuts were part of the test. Let me tell you a small story. A young man once trained under a master builder. For years, he laid bricks no one would ever see. Foundations buried underground, no applause, no recognition. One day he asked, "When will I get to build something visible?" The master replied, "When your unseen work proves you can be trusted with what is seen." God works the same way. You have been laying unseen bricks. Integrity when no one noticed. Consistency when no one applauded. Prayer when no one joined you. Heaven was not silent. Heaven was recording. God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. Hebrews 6:10. Read that carefully. Not unrighteous to forget, which means forgetting would be unjust, and God is just. So if He saw your tears, they are accounted for. If He saw your obedience, it is stored. If He saw your restraint, it is remembered. The final test often feels like the heaviest one. It comes when you are already tired, when you have already proven yourself, when you think, "Surely this is enough." But God allows one last pressure point. Why? Because the final test reveals whether your faith is situational or surrendered. Job lost wealth. He lost children. He lost health. But the deeper test was not loss. It was loyalty. When his wife said, "Curse God and die," that was the exam. And Job answered, Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? Job 2:10. That response was heaven shaking. Chosen one, your response recently shook something in the spiritual realm. You were pushed emotionally, you were stretched mentally, you were cornered circumstantially, and yet you did not abandon your reverence for God. You did not trade your values for relief. That restraint matters. Speak this out loud right now. I did not fail. Say it again. I did not fail. The enemy tried to convince you that because results were delayed, you had failed. But the test was not about results. It was about reaction. You may not have seen visible victory yet, but spiritually, you passed. The reason this season felt longer than others is because the assignment attached to your next level is heavier. God does not give greater weight to untested shoulders. Think of Abraham. He waited decades for Isaac. When the promise finally arrived, God asked him to lay it on the altar. That request was not cruelty. It was confirmation. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. Hebrews 11:17. The final test was not about losing Isaac. It was about proving that Abraham loved God more than the blessing. God will always test what he intends to elevate. He tested your patience. He tested your humility. He tested your motives. When the opportunity came that looked easier but required compromise, you hesitated. That hesitation was maturity. When the conversation tempted you to gossip, you stayed silent. That silence was strength. When fear whispered that you were forgotten, you still whispered prayers at night. That whisper was faith. Do not minimize what you survived. Some of you listening barely made it through emotionally. You cried alone. You questioned quietly. You doubted yourself. But you did not walk away from God. That is the difference. Many start with passion. Few finish with perseverance. You have moved from emotional faith to anchored faith. And anchored faith is what qualifies you for what is next. Let urgency rise in you right now. Do not become casual at this moment. When students finish an exam, they do not know immediately that they passed. There is a review period, a confirmation period. You are in that confirmation window. Heaven is responding. Daniel prayed for 21 days without visible change. On the 21st day, the angel arrived and said, "From the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand, thy words were heard." Daniel 10:12. From the first day. Heaven responded before Daniel saw evidence. Your obedience triggered movement long before you felt it. Do not let exhaustion make you careless now. The final test often includes one last temptation to quit, one last moment of doubt, one last wave of discouragement. Because if the enemy can make you surrender right before confirmation, he will try. But you are still here, still listening, still believing, still standing. That alone is evidence. And hear this gently but clearly. If this word has confirmed what your spirit has been sensing and you feel strengthened through it, I invite you without pressure to support this channel. Join as a member and give super thanks. Do this not from obligation, but as agreement, as a quiet yes, as a signal that you recognize value and choose to honor it. What you give in alignment never leaves you. It circles back refined, strengthened, multiplied. Now stay with this message. Do not treat it as background noise. Your spirit knows something is shifting. The final test was not about breaking you. It was about revealing you, revealing your discipline, revealing your depth, revealing your loyalty. And heaven does not ignore revealed loyalty. Lean in. There is more you need to understand about what happens immediately after a final test is passed. Stay with this. Do not let your attention drift now. The moment after a test is often more critical than the test itself. When a soldier finishes training, the battlefield assignment follows. When a tree survives winter, spring does not ask permission to arrive. It simply comes. In the same way, something has shifted for you, even if your circumstances have not caught up yet. You need to understand a spiritual principle clearly. Testing precedes entrusting. God does not merely test to see if you can survive pain. He tests to see if you can be trusted with influence, weight, and responsibility. The pressure was never about breaking you. It was about proving that your foundation would not crack when real authority rests on it. Let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. James 1:4. Perfect there does not mean flawless. It means complete, mature, fully formed. The waiting season was completing something in you that promotion alone never could. You were being internally structured. Think of Moses in Midian, 40 years in obscurity after fleeing Egypt, tending sheep, living quietly, no platform, no applause. It looked like exile. It was actually formation. When the burning bush appeared, Moses was not the impulsive man who killed in anger years before. He had been softened, humbled, recalibrated. The desert removed what Egypt had built into him, and only then did God say, "Come now, therefore, and I will send thee." Exodus 3:10. Notice the order: formation, then sending. You have been in a Midian season. What felt like delay was detox. What felt like restriction was refinement. God was removing impatience, trimming ego, correcting motives. You may not even recognize how much you have changed. The old you would have reacted differently. The old you would have spoken faster, defended harder, quit sooner. But this season slowed you down. It deepened your thinking. It sharpened your discernment. That is evidence of passing. There is something else you must grasp. Final tests often target identity. The enemy does not attack randomly. He questions who you believe you are. When Jesus was led into the wilderness, the first words spoken against him were, "If thou be the Son of God." Matthew 4:3. The test was not about hunger alone. It was about identity under pressure. Would he prove himself by force? Would he compromise for relief? Would he doubt what the Father had declared? You faced similar whispers. If you are truly called, why is it so hard? If you are truly favored, why is it so delayed? If you are truly chosen, why does it feel lonely? Those questions were part of the exam, and you answered not with arrogance but with endurance, not with noise, but with steadiness. For the trying of your faith worketh patience. James 1:3. Trying there implies proving authenticity. Like metal tested for purity, the trial revealed what was real inside you. Let me tell you something practical and grounded. When engineers test a bridge before opening it to traffic, they do not place a few light objects on it. They apply extreme weight. They simulate stress beyond normal capacity. Why? Because if it survives abnormal pressure, it will easily carry everyday weight. The unusual intensity of your season was not evidence of rejection. It was simulation for what you are about to carry. You asked God for greater influence, greater impact, greater clarity, greater provision. But greater always requires stronger structure, and structure is built in strain. The reason the pressure felt personal is because growth always feels personal. You cannot grow externally without internal stretching, and stretching is uncomfortable. Yet here you are. You did not collapse into bitterness. You did not numb yourself completely. You did not abandon conviction. Even in confusion, you still sought God. That consistency matters more than you realize. There was a moment in Joseph's life when everything looked permanently wrong. Forgotten in prison, interpreting dreams for others while his own remained unfulfilled. But Genesis 39:23 quietly says, "The Lord was with him." That sentence appears repeatedly in his lowest moments, not when he was elevated, not when he was honored. In the pit, in the prison, in the false accusation, the Lord was with him. God's presence in your test was not always emotional, it was structural. He was stabilizing you. You may not have felt constant comfort, but you had unusual restraint. You may not have felt constant joy, but you had persistent conviction. You may not have seen visible progress, but you did not regress into who you used to be. That is passing. Understand this deeply. When you pass a final test, heaven does not respond with chaos. It responds with alignment. Doors that required forced effort begin to open without strain. Conversations that were blocked begin to flow naturally. Clarity replaces confusion gradually but unmistakably. The shift is rarely explosive at first. It is steady. Consider Elijah after Mount Carmel. Fire fell from heaven, prophets were defeated. Yet immediately afterward, he faced exhaustion and discouragement. Why? Because spiritual victory does not exempt you from human recovery. After a test, there is often a quiet recalibration period. God strengthens you internally before manifesting externally. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Isaiah 35:3. This is that strengthening phase. You might feel unusually calm lately, or strangely detached from things that once bothered you. That is not apathy, that is maturity. When something no longer triggers you the way it used to, it means the lesson attached to it has been learned. Final tests often repeat themes, similar scenarios, similar personalities, similar pressures, but your response changes. And when your response changes consistently, the cycle breaks. You did not just survive the pattern, you shifted inside it. There was one more element in your testing that you need to recognize: silence. God sometimes withdraws obvious affirmation to see if you will continue without it. When a teacher stops speaking during an exam, it does not mean absence, it means assessment. You experienced stretches where prayer felt one-sided, where clarity was minimal, where confirmation was scarce, but you kept showing up. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Galatians 6:9. The condition is clear: if we faint not. You came close. There were nights you questioned everything. There were moments you wondered if you misunderstood your calling, but you did not faint. That perseverance has weight in the spiritual realm. Now here is the part many do not realize. Passing a final test shifts authority. Authority is not loud. It is quiet confidence rooted in obedience. When David faced Goliath, he was not nervous about size. He referenced previous private victories. The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. 1 Samuel 17:37. Private tests build public authority. The lions and bears in your life were not random inconveniences, they were rehearsals. And now you sense that something larger stands ahead, not necessarily larger in drama, but larger in responsibility, larger in impact, larger in reach. Do not rush it. The same patience that carried you through testing must carry you into manifestation. Passing the test does not mean abandoning discipline, it means maintaining it at a new level. There will be subtle confirmations, small alignments, unexpected favor. Watch for them. Do not dismiss them. Heaven rarely announces its response with noise. It reveals it through precision, a delayed email, a restored relationship, a new idea that brings clarity, a sudden release of anxiety you carried for months. These are not coincidences. God's responses are often progressive before they are public. Remain grounded. Micah 6:8 reminds us to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God. The humility that carried you through the test must anchor you in the response. You did not pass because you were perfect. You passed because you were persistent, because you stayed aligned, because when given the option to react in flesh, you chose restraint. When given the option to surrender hope, you chose to pray quietly one more time. That choice is not small. Heaven marks consistency. Stay alert now. Stay prayerful. The posture that sustained you must remain intact, because what follows a final test is not just reward, it is responsibility, and responsibility handled with humility becomes legacy. Do not assume the battle is over in the sense of struggle disappearing, but understand that the nature of the struggle shifts. You will fight from stability now, not insecurity, from identity, not confusion, and this is only the beginning of what that shift means for you. Do not step away now. Lean in closer, because what I am about to say is not emotional encouragement, it is spiritual reality. The final test was not just about survival, it was about authorization. There is a difference between surviving a storm and being certified by it. You have been certified. Heaven does not entrust weight to unstable foundations, and you are no longer unstable. You are not the same person who entered this season. The fear that once controlled you has lost volume. The insecurity that once dictated your reactions has weakened. The need for approval that once influenced your decisions has thinned out. You were restructured. And after ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. 1 Peter 5:10. Perfect, established, strengthened, settled. That is not poetic language. That is process language. You were settled. When storms came before, they shook you deeply. This time you bent but did not break. You felt the pressure but did not implode. You questioned but did not abandon. That is settlement. Now understand this clearly. Heaven's response is not random blessing, it is strategic placement. Joseph was not released from prison just to feel relief. He was positioned to govern. David was not crowned just to celebrate. He was positioned to lead. Esther was not elevated just to enjoy royalty. She was positioned to influence survival. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. Such a time as this. The test was aligning you with timing. You kept wondering why certain doors would not open, why certain relationships dissolved, why certain plans collapsed. But misaligned doors must close before aligned ones open. God will not allow you to carry old attachments into new assignments. Some of the separation you experienced was protection. Some of the silence was redirection. Some of the delay was prevention. You thought you were being denied. You were being redirected. Now listen carefully. Heaven's response will shock you not because it is loud, but because it will be undeniable. There will be moments where you look back and realize that what once drained you no longer has access, that what once intimidated you no longer moves you, that what once blocked you now clears. This is what authority feels like. Authority is not shouting, it is knowing. Knowing who you are, knowing what you carry, knowing what you will no longer tolerate. When Jesus stood before Pilate, he was calm. Pilate said, "Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee?" And Jesus answered, "Thou couldst have no power at all against me except it were given thee from above." John 19:10-11. That is authority under pressure. You have grown into that kind of composure. The final test was stripping away your dependency on external validation so you could stand in internal conviction. And here is the shift. What once required effort will now require discernment. Before, you were fighting to survive. Now, you must guard what you have built internally. Because when promotion comes, distraction follows. The enemy does not stop when you pass. He shifts strategy. He will attempt to reintroduce old triggers, old patterns, old conversations. But you are not the same responder anymore. Remember this. Tests repeat only when lessons are incomplete. The fact that this one ended means the lesson integrated. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Psalm 37:23. Ordered. Your steps are being arranged with precision. Conversations will align. Opportunities will surface. Ideas will sharpen. The path will not necessarily be easier, but it will be clearer. Clarity is heaven's reward for obedience. You will begin to notice unusual peace in situations that used to provoke anxiety. That is confirmation. You will feel strength in areas where you once felt fragile. That is evidence. You will sense timing in decisions instead of confusion. That is alignment. Heaven's response often begins internally before it manifests externally. Do not rush external proof. Internal authority is the greater miracle. There was a season when Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Fear controlled him. But after testing, after failure, after restoration, he stood before crowds, boldly declaring truth without flinching. The difference was not personality, it was refinement. You have been refined. And refinement changes tone, it changes posture, it changes discernment. The reason the final test felt heavier than previous ones is because it was connected to legacy. Smaller tests prepare character. Final tests prepare calling. You are stepping into a season where your decisions will influence more than just you. Your steadiness will steady others. Your clarity will guide others. Your faith will encourage others. This is why the test had to be thorough. God is careful with influence. And now comes the sacred responsibility. Do not forget what built you. Do not abandon prayer because momentum increases. Do not neglect humility because recognition grows. Do not rush ahead of God because doors finally open. Stay anchored. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37:5. Commitment is not a one-time decision. It is daily surrender. The greatest shock of heaven's response will not just be open doors, it will be who you have become while waiting for them. You expected breakthrough. You did not expect transformation. You prayed for change around you. God changed something within you first. That inner shift is permanent. Even if circumstances fluctuate, that maturity remains. And here is something many never realize. When you pass a final test, you gain spiritual memory. You will never doubt God in the same way again, because you have evidence now. You have lived through silence and seen survival. You have endured delay and remained standing. That memory becomes fuel for future seasons. You are not fragile anymore. You are grounded. Let urgency rise one last time in your spirit. Not panic, but readiness. Readiness to steward what comes. Readiness to remain humble. Readiness to walk boldly without arrogance. Speak this now, out loud if you can. I am ready, and I remain submitted. Because readiness without submission becomes pride. And submission without readiness becomes hesitation. You now carry both. Heaven's response is already unfolding. It may not yet look dramatic, but it is deliberate. You will see alignment in timing. You will see protection in redirection. You will see favor without striving. And when it becomes visible, do not forget the cave, the prison, the wilderness, the waiting room. Those places were not wasted. They were classrooms. You graduated. But graduation in God's kingdom is not an ending. It is commissioning. The final test did not close your story. It authorized your next chapter. Stay watchful. Stay grateful. Stay grounded. Because what is unfolding now is not accidental. It is heaven's measured response to a heart that proved it would not compromise. And that kind of faith never goes unanswered.